You're doing you're gonna do the intro, right?
Okay, I can. What's up, WWE Champions? This is Lee and Rusty from
Are we live?
Champions Chat. And this is your power rating for Viscera. But Rusty, we're not online. We're doing this by ourselves. Is that allowed? Are we allowed to
Yeah.
power rate without the
Well,
community?
okay. So behind the scenes, Lee, we've had so much fun having the community vote on categories, but in truth, we never like when the group that got together to create this system created it. It was supposed to be all objective,
Yeah.
like no vote required. So
Right.
like if you look closely at our grid, the criteria is very clear. Like when we get a vote wrong, it's usually because we've not followed the criteria.
Not
So
followed what we were
um
supposed to do. Gotcha.
yeah, so like I'm not trying to be like, gosh, I love the community. I love their input, and we want them to let us know in the chat if they feel like we got something wrong on this video, especially if you feel like we got one of the, like, let's keep that dialogue going. Lee and I
Right.
plan to do some power ratings live on the Champions Chat Twitch account,
Twitch. Yeah.
which is our home. We're trying to grow our home. I think we've neglected it for far too long. So head over there to twitch.tv/Champions Chat Podcast and give us a follow, I think
Right.
is what it's called on Twitch.
Yeah.
So Viscera, I had the privilege of doing our break it down video on Viscera. In my opinion, Lee, Viscera is the top Attitude Era powerhouse.
Okay.
Now, he may be even better than that, but I would put him over like Bionic Redneck. I would put him over the new Boss Man.
Wow.
And those are two really, really good powerhouses.
Right.
He's a defensive attitude era guy. He's got a really, I think, impressive and diverse move set, which you can watch our break it down to see all of that. But because you haven't seen him yet, Lee,
At all.
I I think you're gonna have a lot of fun being the driver here.
Okay.
And I put together what I think is the most straightforward move set that'll yield the highest power rating score using the least amount of rare things. I've assembled a completely free to play
Oh,
entourage. So if you're one of those guys that gets Viscera accidentally out of the bag this weekend, you are in for a treat because he's going to hit super, super hard with nothing required right out of the box. So
yeah.
the way I actually did the break it down kind of like in discover mode. I was trying to figure out what he did. I found the spinning heel kick to be a great place to start the move set.
Okay.
It's a 6 MP yellow move that's going to deal 600k damage and increase our MP 10. And even if we don't need it, Lee, in a plus 99 meta or some other alternate universe where he's got a reversal attached to him that's
A
one of the
secret.
nastiest in all of champions.
Ooh.
If the opponent generated at least one multi-gem, deal 5 million damage, and then steal 49 multi-gems, the most, and then steal the turn.
Right.
That is disgusting,
That
right?
is. Dang.
Uh,
Okay.
he's basically Indy or Tiffy, right?
Yeah.
He's basically an acrobat. Um, so
Viscera is basically an acrobat. Wow. Wow.
So because we're creating 10 MP, we can then go right into the two-handed chokes and deal like 490k damage and damage.
Yep.
And we'll make a 4x4 area into multi-gen strength of 13. Now, here's what I like. It's random, so it doesn't require a click. It's going to
Okay.
populate on the board for us for a lot of speed. And then we're going to deal another half a million for 90k and we're going to make one of those multi gems into a heal gem strength of
Wow.
40 million.
Okay.
So a 4 by 4 is 16. So we'll have 15 multis and a 40 million heal gem on.
Okay.
How wild is that?
That's
Um,
pretty big.
and then we're going to hit our finisher, the big splash, which is what Viscera used to crush the Undertaker's face, requiring him to use the Phantom of the Opera faceplate. Remember that?
Yes. I do remember that.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah,
going to
because he
hit the
was
finisher.
Mabel at the time, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He was a man on a mission. Mabel and Mo, remember that tag team? And
Yeah.
they wore like silk clown suits or something like that. Yeah, exactly. They were
Yeah.
terrible. Gosh. So he's going to deal like 2 million damage, and he's going to. So then you have to choose 6 by 6 area to make into yellow and pin the opponent. But it's a hardcore move. So if that opponent is an acro 2 million damage. And then you're going to pump those multis by 6. So you'll
Okay.
have 15 multi strength of 19 on the board
Okay.
against macros by default. That's without moments, that's without trainers, that's without anything else. So,
Okay.
um, for the entourage, I wanted to use some cheapies. So we got Kofi loading our MP. Who did you put in the second spot? There was some debate as to who we should
Oh,
put there.
I put Braun. So Braun, actually he's only
Perfect.
at 34K, so he's only increasing the strength by one, but that would still be
Okay.
100% damage. I can up him
Right.
if we want
Right.
to get him to 35K now on this account, but it'd be 200% functionally or two multi gems worth if we do it, the other way. So yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. And then we've got who do you got? Memrock or
Mimrock and
Stunning?
Stunning Steve, yeah, is what we said for free to
Memrock
play.
Memrock for another multi. Stunning Steve, he's doing 40% to all gym.
Yeah,
So yellow will be included. Plus, if you cascade and do a little bit more, Stunning Steve's probably the best free to play coach
right.
that's just sitting in most people's rosters and not being utilized. So you're going to see more Stunning Steve in our content because we are really high on him.
Yeah.
Lee, I think I've said all I need to say. Why don't you put 100%. I'm sure you already did. 100%
Yep.
damage strap on him. You got some Fury. What are we using? Fury 2s
Fury
for power
2s,
ratings?
yeah, we're not doing Fury 3s yet, but I will go ahead and switch to the red Fury 2 that does 200% move damage because he's got
Okay.
some decent numbers there. Not quite, but decent.
Nice.
Yeah. But
Nice.
I do
Well,
have to note this account does have the Ministry of Darkness moment. So yellow gems doing 100% more damage, multis are
okay.
going up by 3. So even
Oh,
if we wanted to take Memrock off there or whatever, the moment does make a pretty big. Oh, and moves do 100% more damage. Subs do 400%, receive 50% less damage. So this is and Juggernaut gems create one more. So this is a pretty big moment. So it's
so
gonna have
so
to be a rare thing. It's gonna have to
well,
be.
why don't you do this? Why don't you take off Braun and Memrock so
We
that
won't start
you
turn one.
well he has plus 99.
Oh, that's
So
true.
it's a essentially it's like you're just using a generic MP without the multi, you know?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because basically he's still gone up by one on the multi and 100% on the yellow, but that does nerf it as much as we can that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then we're going to go in against Zombie Sami Zayn. I didn't see any trap gems that we were creating, so I think we're going to be
Yep.
okay there. Rusty, is it just one, two, three on the moves? Is it just hit the yellow, hit the red, hit the red?
Yep. It is fast and furious and straightforward.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then we're going to do that. So that laid down the multis. They're times 16, and one of them turned into a heal gem. They're not going to buff up because we're not fighting against an acrobat. So they're going to stay time. Ooh, that's mean. They're going to stay times 16, and then we're going to make this huge area yellow. That multi patch looks small now compared to this huge area we're
Right?
turning yellow, and that's going to hit for 70 million. Free to play as we can get him 70 million. So even with that 100% boost that's coming from the moment, he would still hit for 63 million, give or take. So
Yeah.
that's free to play 60 million. Nice.
So, so here's my theory is the nightmare plate is dropping out of feud bags at this
Okay.
point.
So not even a rare
Um,
thing anymore.
that's that's up to the community to leave us some comments on. I would say no, not a rare thing anymore. Um, so let's put back in, or you can boost, have fun with him now. Now that we've seen the baseline is like somewhere over 60 million. Um, do whatever you'd like. Get creative, some pizzazz. If you want to add
Some
a Royal Rumble plate, that's up to you. I don't know.
pizzazz. All right, well, let's do. Okay, so I'm going to do Matt Hardy so that it simulates Braun, but then I am going to put in Seth Leonardo. So that's a couple rare things. But again, we've already locked him in for his score. I'm going to put the Nightmare Plate on and then take full advantage of the moment. But there's going to be one more thing I'm going to add after. I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to add one more thing to see what about his plate? What about his plate after this? So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
so we've got that too. All right, so same thing as we did before. We did 70 million, adding on Matt Hardy, adding on Seth Leonardo, adding on the Nightmare Plate. He goes from 70 million to what? What?
It's gonna be
116 million.
160.
No, 116.
Oh, okay.
116. Yeah, like the 116 click. Uno, uno, seis.
And is this accurate? What Merrick's always say, he doesn't touch the board. Is that true? Like he doesn't. There's
Um,
no swiping,
but
right?
you do
There's
have to
no.
put that big area on there. So it's not that he
Okay.
does it, but it's minimal. Very, very minimal in terms of him touching
Okay.
the board, so to speak. And then we've got this eyeball plate, the visceral visage. Whenever you make one heal gem or more, increase all your gem damage by 200% for one turn. That's gonna be a little bit of an extra hit to him right there too. So without his plate 116, what do you think that 216 or 200% is gonna take him up to, Rusty?
I'm trying to remember what. I don't want to say the wrong numbers because I remember doing. I put all the whale stuff on it, and I thought I was to over 140, maybe even 150, but I'm not. I can't remember. So you tell me. You
Okay,
tell
well, I
me.
didn't put Sherry on him yet, so Sherry would be the next evolution of this. But with
Yeah.
just his plate on there now, we did
Yeah, and his plate didn't exist when I did the break it down, so I'm
right.
not really sure how to calculate that.
Yeah, so 160, 160.
Oh,
So
oh,
that was a big jump. That was a
oh,
50 million hit right there.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
and you're healing yourself for 40
for
million
40
damage,
million.
dude. Like
Yeah.
that's really helpful in boss battle. Like
Oh
that's just
yeah.
really helpful in the longevity of the game for feuding. If you need to feud multiple matches, you take a lot of damage, and then you suddenly I remember the old Enzo, how you just couldn't kill him. He could heal himself like instantly in the
I
old
never got to
days.
see Enzo in the
He
game, so that was before my time in this game,
was
unfortunately.
unkillable. Yeah, 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 yeah. He was my
Unkillable.
yeah. It's like you
Wow.
could do a whole blitz with just him, right? Because he's gaining his health back the whole time.
Jeez. Well, that's fair. I mean, yeah, 40 million in boss battle. Basically that's a turn's worth of health every time. So no
Right.
matter what, you're going to have your health back. So here's
And he's defensive, so you can heal the whole team in boss
Oh,
battle
geez, you're
every turn.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked
Like,
about his hot tag ability yet. But hold on, because here's the hit with Sherry. Goes from 160 to 172. So actually, the visceral visage made a bigger dent than Sherry did. That's
wow.
crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy. So that plate
Yeah.
is really good on him. But yeah, we haven't talked about the hot tag. So one of the aspects of the system that you created here is what does he do in boss battle, showdown, and feud? And I would say feud absolutely, but showdown. Let me just show you this real quick. Hot tag, when tagged into the match, deal 50 million damage. So that's an additional unblockable 50 million damage and increase all of your red MP by 10. Opponent will force tag, not activate hot tag. So they don't hot tag, you hot tag, 50 million damage and your red move's ready to go. So
Right.
that means no matter what, you don't even have to have the yellow move on there. You could add the third red move and put a juggernaut down if you wanted to. You don't need to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're saying he's going to be good in boss battle. He's going to be good in showdown. He's going to be good in feud. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Dang.
10 out of 10. I can't and the juggernauts reduce and activate everything. He turns the whole board black in like 2 click. It's crazy. Feel free to try it out. But
Well,
he's very, very versatile.
then let's go to the sheet. Except for in order to go back here, I have to add you. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this. Let me see. I'm gonna try this the hot fix way real quick. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Just do that. And then I'm going to have to put this back. Actually, that worked better than I thought it would overall. It's small, but you can see it. No comments. All right. So we're saying this is objective for most of these things now. And the ones that we get wrong, community let us know in chat. As Rusty said, we will be power rating on streams again. But we had time to do this one and we couldn't stream. So we chose to get it done and have fun with it on there. So, damage wise, to get a 5 in damage needs to be 60 million or more. I've argued that the new meta would actually mean 100 million or more would be the right scoring for 5 points. But either way, he hit more than 100 million multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he does it so easily and so quickly. That's where
Yeah.
it's scary. It's just done.
It's just boom and done. Okay. Well, then speed is to get a 5. At least 2 of the following need to be true. MP charge is equal to or lesser than 6 MP, which his first move is, and that loads the other 2. So not every move has to be 6 MP when one move loads them others. Recycle flawlessly, that's true. Animations are quick, resulting in a feud win in under 45 seconds. Do you think you would win in 45 seconds or less with Viscera?
Easily. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, easily hits all these. So that's another 5. And then special things. So for readiness, character needs 0 or 1 special thing, plate, gear, moment, etc., to make them work well for a 5. We nerfed the moment as much as we could, and even without, even nerfing it the rest of the way, he'd be over 63 million with nothing else rare. Am I right? Was there anything else rare that we had on him?
I mean, the nightmare plate would be the only, some people might say, hey, I don't have one.
But we didn't have it on when we hit
Fair.
the 70 million. That was when we
Oh,
went to
no.
116. So
Yeah,
so
that
that's
was
still
total for
zero special things. Any rare trainers?
no. No, because we didn't even have Strowman on at the first, did we? We took him
I
off to simulate the subsidy of the moment.
yeah,
So, and that could easily be John Cena, HLR Cena, doing
right.
45% yellow.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you need to have Braun.
Yeah.
He's great if you do have him, but
But he's still going to hit. So he's a 5 in versatility or readiness, that is. Readiness, he's a 5 cuz even if you add one rare thing somewhere like the Nightmare Plate, if
but
you consider that rare, or like I don't consider Braun rare. They did a lot to get him in the community's hands over the last year. Get
it
these
took me a
hands.
long time to get. Remember that? Remember how long it
Yeah.
took me to get him? And then once I got him, then everybody started getting him.
Right.
It's
That's
like,
how it goes. You're like, finally. Oh, everybody else gets him too. Dang it.
yeah,
Whoopsies.
yeah.
All right. So then we're on to versatility. So we've already kind of hinted at where we're at with this, but for a 5, character would need to be competitively usable in feud, boss, and showdown, and have a special gym type to help boost extreme rolls in Gym Mania. So the hot tag, I feel like, takes care of showdown. I mean, do you
Right.
disagree? Like, is there any reason he
So
wouldn't be great in showdown?
not only that, his Ministry of Darkness link is gonna help boost our showdown partners MP by 2.
Oh,
So it feels like he's really poised. I think it's black MP by 2. So he may not help mod Undertaker, but
right.
he'll help Bradshaw,
Yeah, or
primarily Bradshaw. Yeah.
Farouk has a build, I think, with black. But either way, yeah, primarily Bradshaw. But the hot tag is you put them there. He's ready to tag in turn 1. He tags and he's in, and now his moves are loaded, and you don't even need to worry about having your yellow moves. So therefore, you don't have to have Kofi. You could have Sherry and Matt or Braun and get even more damage out of him that way. So yeah, Showdown. I mean, anybody who has a hot tag link now in Showdown, that's what that's made for, right? So
He's the guy
talk
you
to me
want in
about
your corner.
feud.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, Feud, you saw it. It's,
right.
load MP, throw multis on the board, blow up board, and perfectly recycles. Should something happen, I doubt anything will. But like, as we get into Feud and start looking at like tier 6 medals, he's just gonna destroy. He's gonna
Right.
destroy.
And then with boss battle, we already talked about that heal gem for 40 million. You're healing yourself for 40 million every turn, which means the boss might be able to end you at some point, but realistically, it's going to be you're going to be in there for a long time, and since he's defensive, you're healing your entire team. So you're healing your team
Yeah.
and yourself consistently. So is
You'll
there any
in
reason why
boss
he wouldn't be a
battle.
boss guy?
Side note, in boss battle, you'll be able to cycle through this 2 full times and actually heal yourself 80 million per turn.
Oh, okay. You think he can
Yeah.
get all 3 moves off 2
I
times?
I think um
Okay.
I what's the MP charge of the 2 red moves? What is it? What's their MP cost?
Hold on. Let me see here. They are 8, oh, 9 and 10. So no, you're gonna need to run. You would have to run all 3 moves 3
Right.
times. So I don't think you could do it twice, but maybe,
Yeah, we'll,
maybe.
we'll try it out. And you're moving at 1 speed, so who knows the way time
Right,
and space work together in that.
right. Well, so far he's a perfect score, but this is where everybody falls. It seems coaching
Right.
ability. Green
Uh-huh.
gems do 40%. Leech gems do 60%. I think to be objective, we have to look at the most recent one we did with the community, which was Stone Cold, who did botch and black, and we gave him a
Okay.
3.
Wow. And he did black to 40%, and
Yeah,
he got a 3.
yeah, yeah.
See, like
We
to me, that's better than a niche because he's has 2 separate niche categories attached. And a 40% gym trainer, I think is strong.
yeah.
I personally would vote 4. It's not a 5, but I think it's how about you, Lee?
I mean, I might go. Leech gyms are. You talk about niche. Leech gyms are the niche of niche, and I think this is where Austin fell too. Is who you're using with leech gyms in this meta right now, right?
Yeah, right.
So if that's if and botch gyms, I think Austin stands a good chance based on what we're hearing with these new botchman plates out. That maybe more botch gym characters are coming in the near future. So based on that, I think Austin has a better chance of his entourage ability going than Viscera
Yeah.
does. So I
Oh,
think it's a
three,
3
three it
again.
is. King of Pop Style Nakamura is so ready for Viscera's coaching ability.
Right? Yeah, green and like exactly that. But that's neat. Like that is like one character that we can
I
figure out
know,
like
I know,
immediately that guy
I know. I
out
was
of
being facetious.
650. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that puts him at a 23, which is kind of where most of the modern new characters are fallen. I mean, that's where
Right.
Last Time Is Now Cena falls, Hornswoggle, that's where Austin falls, that's where Jey Uso falls, that's where Roman Reigns falls. In
Yeah, I think that's
terms
right.
of powerhouses, that he's the first 23 we have in powerhouses. The ones above him are Turtle Raphael and Zombie CM Punk, and that is it. He's better than every other powerhouse we've rated, including Cody Rhodes, Bionic Austin, Razar, Big Boss Man, Kevin Owens, Zombie Cody, Judgment Day
Right.
McDonough. That puts him in some rare air, I would say.
I think it's right. I think it takes a lot for a powerhouse to be highly rated and to have a high entourage. Raphael is probably in a league of his own. And oh, I was CM Punk, the cycle that he's in. Yeah, that's a 5 out of 5. So nobody's gonna. I don't know that we'll see many 25 powerhouses. Just yeah, I think 23 still very, very, very good. If you pulled OTC Roman today and you looked up, oh, he's only a 23 out of 25. No, it's like he's nearly perfect.
Right.
He's nearly perfect. So
Yeah.
it's really,
Yeah, that
yeah.
is really, really good. And I mean, you were the one. I mean, again, I obviously haven't played with him until just now. You were the one who sent me the screenshot of the hot tag, and I was like, oh, like I'll be quite honest. I do now have Penta. Last Time Is Now Cena. I think that's it for
Viva
those ones.
Eddie,
Who?
Viva Eddie has a hot tag.
Oh, Viva, of
Viva Eddie.
course. Yeah, I was like, I've got to have one more because, yeah, they introduced it with Viva Eddie, and I've never once paid attention to those. But now, like, hearing 50 million plus instantly loads as red moves, I'm like, that's a showdown monster right there.
So let me put it in different numbers. Let me pull a slim numbers moment for you.
Nice.
If we evaluated, we can actually do this with all of our power ratings.
Yeah.
If we took Viscera and put him on 100-point scale, right? We would have 25 times 4 is a.
Yeah.
He'd be a 92. He'd be a 92 out of 100.
Oh,
So that's an A, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
just the thought. I
Just
mean,
on
if
a
you got a
7 point scale.
92 out of 100 on an exam, would you be really excited? If I get one of my grad school
Oh,
essays
yeah.
back and I had 92 out of 100, I'm doing cartwheels. Like, this is
Yeah.
great. This is the best thing. So
No, so here's a good reference to recent life for me is I just took a test that you have to take to go into a field, and the highest score that they've had in that academy's recent history is a 94. Like that's the highest you've got. I
yeah,
got a 90 and was blown away. Literally, only 3 people in my class got a 90 or above, and I was one of them. So I'm not bragging on myself, not trying to make that weird or anything, but like just consider if that's a 92 out of
yeah,
100, like that's you see, oh, that's a low A. No, that is a strong showing, especially in the powerhouse
yep,
class. That if you look on the sheet right now, you can see like we got a lot of acrobats, we got a lot of showboats, we got a lot of tricksters. Powerhouse is almost empty comparatively right there. So this is a much
right.
needed category.
Who's somebody? Give me somebody that's like 18 on.
18 on power ratings. Let's see. So 18s would be greatest hits Kevin Owens, Grayson Waller, Big Kev, and Final Boss Rock. There's 4 for you.
So do you know what those guys are, Lee? Those guys are 72s on a 100-point
Oh,
scale.
okay.
You really see the separation, don't you?
Wow.
When we do it on a 100-point scale, like a
Yeah.
72, that's like a C, bro. That's like that's like
Yeah.
okay, but like Final Boss Rock, he's
He's okay. Yeah,
right.
that really makes me have continued faith in our system here because that's
Yeah,
right. Like and Big Kev, like he can be a turn one destroyer, but he needs lots of things to get there, which is
everything.
why he was lower. And Two Bob
And
actually
his
did
animations,
that rating.
his
So,
animations are ancient and slow. I did some stuff with Big Kev, and I was like, he moves like the real Kevin Nash. Brrr.
but if you've got his gear,
Yeah,
he's turn one. It's just there's a lot of
he is.
choosing and
But it's a long turn one. It's a long.
It's really like Kevin Nash. That's hilarious.
He's moving at one
Wow.
speed, even when you're on two speed. Yeah,
Which is also accurate to Kevin Nash. So,
yeah,
wow, we
yeah.
started this video, talking about Mabel, and then ended this video talking about the guy who sat on him and broke his back, and then anyway, we
Yep,
sat on Kevin
yep.
Nash. Wow.
There we
Anyway,
go. Be crushing. We're crushing. That's all for
yeah,
Mabel and Mo, Lee and I tonight. But
right.
hey, if you like this power rating, why don't you jump on with us next time you see us live on our Twitch channel? It's twitch.tv Champions Chat Podcast. We'd love for you to enter the chat, lift your voice, type your words, and help us get these right. If something we said or did in this video didn't resonate with you, let us know in the comments. And if it did resonate with you, here's what I'm really curious about. Should we start doing power ratings on a 100 scale? Or should we reference, hey, on a 100-point scale, that's what, like, does that, to me, that really helps clarify the distance between really good and not so good when we put
Right.
it away from, yeah, it was an 18. What is a 16? How do we know? Right. And then
Yeah.
you put it on that 100-point scale and you go, holy smokes, a
Yeah.
16 is a 64 on a 100-point scale.
Right.
That's almost fail. That's almost a fail, bro. That's
Yeah.
a bah.
No, I like that. I
So
don't know that we can just say the 4x multiplier would be, but we
right,
do need to, so I keep wanting us to do this as a podcast episode or just even a conversation for you and I. We do need to revise for the next meta because we kind of had a meta shift, but I just keep holding on that if next month they go 7-star, then we make a change and then boom, we got to change it right away again. But I think we're
right.
locked in. I think these scores are verifiably accurate by and large. So
I
I
think
think we're
here's what
doing
we're gonna
good.
have to figure out. We're gonna have to figure out how the tier six metal is affected as well. How to tier six
That's
metal
yeah,
and then how do we test a tier six against a tier six? Like
right,
the other day I wrote the some of the devs and asked, can you please create an opponent in the game with tier six metal so that we can like test, for content purposes,
right.
because everything about's very antiquated. And, tier six becomes the norm. So
Right.
yeah,
That's true. Well, again, that's why the meta is shifting so much. Like that was part of it is those tier 6 medals. Like that was probably a bigger shift
right,
even than going to 6 gold in some ways. So at least by the time we hit 7-star and kind of figure that out, we will adapt and adjust for those. But just keep in mind, and this is a separate conversation, we can end it here in a second, but keep in mind, like when we have these in here, like Austin, Bionic Redneck, we rated at 6 silver, and that was his scoring then. So that was his current, his meta. We don't need to make it where we have to go back and redo every single power rating because that would take way too long. But you keep in mind, like
right.
these do morph as time goes by. So, they are, I think, very reliable. But as we get to 7-star, we will have to start factoring in, like, well, that was the 6-star gold power rating. Here's what the 7-star or 6
Right.
platinum or whatever it looks like. So,
We may have to put what meta we're in on the thumbnail just for a quick reference.
sure.
So then it's like you see the six gold like in
Right.
the top right corner. So then we go like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
Right.
So just a
Yeah.
thought. I don't know.
Well, that's it for this one.
Yeah.
We got a little podcasty at the end. I love that. I missed doing this, and I'm glad we're back. And I hope you missed it too. And I hope you miss it so much that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and put some comments in there about how beautiful Rusty's face is. Because we get a lot of those comments. Never mind, but always Rusty's. So we will see you on the next one, friends.